You probably spent time with someone today without even thinking about it. Maybe you sent a text message. Maybe you waved at a neighbor. Maybe you stood in line at a store surrounded by strangers. Even if you've spent most of your day alone, you've still relied on thousands of people you've never met. Someone grew your food. Someone built the road outside your house. Someone generated the electricity powering your screen right now. We barely notice it because human connection is so normal that it feels invisible. But imagine waking up tomorrow and finding that every other person on Earth had vanished. No family, no friends, no tribe, no community, just you. At first, it might not seem impossible. After all, humans are clever. We build tools. We solve problems. We adapt. You could find food. You could make shelter. You could learn survival skills. Maybe you'd survive a week, maybe a month, maybe even years. But here is the uncomfortable truth. For almost all of human history, the most dangerous thing that could happen to you wasn't being attacked by a predator. It wasn't starvation. It wasn't disease. It was being alone. Your ancestors crossed deserts, survived ice ages, hunted giant animals, and spread across nearly every environment on Earth. Yet throughout that entire journey, there is almost no evidence that humans survived completely alone for long periods of time. And that raises a strange question. If humans are the most successful species on the planet, why couldn't they make it by themselves? What was so dangerous about being alone that our ancestors built entire societies around avoiding it? And more importantly, could an ancient human survive alone forever? Or was loneliness itself one of the deadliest threats they ever faced? For generations, archaeologists and anthropologists focused on a different mystery. How did humans become so intelligent? How did we build tools, language, culture, and civilization? But another question has quietly emerged from decades of research. Why did humans become social in the first place? Why did our ancestors choose cooperation over independence? Why did hunter-gatherers share food instead of keeping it? Why did families travel together? Why did tribes protect their weakest members? And perhaps the biggest question of all, if you took one healthy ancient human and separated them completely from everyone else, could they survive indefinitely? At first glance, the answer seems obvious. Of course they could. Humans are resourceful. But the deeper researchers looked into human evolution, the stranger the answer became. Because evidence suggests that being alone may have been fundamentally incompatible with being human. Your body was never designed for complete independence. Neither was your brain. Humans are not the fastest animals. We're not the strongest. We don't have claws. We don't have fangs. We don't have thick fur. Compared to many predators, an individual human is surprisingly vulnerable. What made humans powerful wasn't individual strength. It was cooperation. Evolution shaped our species around social survival. Your brain contains specialized networks devoted to reading faces, understanding emotions, predicting behavior, and maintaining relationships. These systems consume enormous amounts of energy. If humans were meant to live alone, evolution would never have invested so much biological machinery into understanding other people. Research in evolutionary psychology suggests that loneliness activates many of the same stress systems triggered by physical danger. Your ancestors didn't experience isolation as a lifestyle choice. Their brains experienced it as a survival emergency. Because for hundreds of thousands of years, it often was. Picture East Africa roughly 120,000 years ago. The afternoon sun hangs low over a dry grassland. A small band of hunter-gatherers moves across the landscape. Children run between adults. Older women carry gathered roots. Hunters scan the horizon. The group has traveled together for weeks. Then something happens. One young man becomes separated. Maybe he follows an injured animal. Maybe he loses sight of the group during a storm. Maybe he simply takes a wrong turn. By sunset, the others are gone. The grass whispers in the wind. Hyenas call in the distance. Night falls. For the first time in his life, he is completely alone. The darkness feels different now. Every sound seems louder. Every shadow seems alive. The danger hasn't changed. His situation has. Anthropologist Sarah Hrdy has argued that human survival depended heavily on cooperative relationships long before agriculture or civilization emerged. Unlike many animals, humans evolved as cooperative breeders. Children required support from multiple adults. Food was frequently shared. Knowledge was passed between generations. This created a species that depended on social networks for survival. Archaeological evidence reveals something equally fascinating. Researchers have discovered skeletons of ancient humans with severe injuries and disabilities that would have made independent survival nearly impossible. Yet these individuals lived for years after their injuries. Someone fed them. Someone protected them. Someone cared. The evidence suggests that cooperation wasn't optional. It was normal. Now imagine that same lost hunter 3 days later. His water source has dried up. He manages to catch small animals, but gathering enough food consumes nearly every waking hour. There is nobody watching for predators while he sleeps, nobody helping him track larger game, nobody sharing information about nearby resources. A twisted ankle becomes a serious threat. A minor infection becomes dangerous. Every problem must be solved alone. The wilderness has not become more hostile, but his odds have, because ancient survival was rarely about a single challenge. It was about facing dozens of challenges simultaneously. And groups divide burdens. Individuals cannot. Studies of modern hunter-gatherer populations provide valuable clues. Anthropologists studying the Hadza of Tanzania and other foraging societies consistently observe extensive food sharing. Large kills are distributed throughout the group. Information about water, animals, and seasonal resources spreads rapidly. Survival becomes a collective effort. Researchers estimate that an individual hunter's success rate on any given day can be surprisingly low. One person may fail repeatedly. A group rarely fails all at once. Sharing acts as insurance. In many ways, the tribe itself becomes a survival technology. And this is where the mystery finally breaks open. The greatest invention in human history was not fire. It was not the spear. It was not agriculture. It was cooperation. Long before cities existed, humans discovered something extraordinary. A group of average individuals could outperform the strongest lone survivor. One person could watch for danger. Another could gather food. Another could care for children. Another could remember migration routes. Knowledge became shared. Risk became shared. Survival became shared. This changed everything. Humans stopped competing as individuals. They started surviving as networks. That was the breakthrough. And once it happened, there was no going back. Cooperation transformed humanity. Tribes became communities. Communities became villages. Villages became cities. Trade emerged because people trusted one another. Culture emerged because knowledge could accumulate. Civilization emerged because groups could achieve what individuals never could. Every road, every language, every invention, every nation, all trace back to one ancient realization: together is stronger than alone. The same principle that helped a hunter survive the savannah eventually built pyramids, crossed oceans, and reached space. And here's the strange part. Your brain still operates by those ancient rules. Your body still reacts to social rejection as if it were a threat. Your ancestors survived because they belonged to groups. Your nervous system remembers that. The world has changed. The instincts have not. You can order food without hunting. You can live alone in an apartment. You can spend hours without speaking to another person. But deep inside, ancient survival software is still running. The part of your brain that fears isolation wasn't designed for modern life. It was designed for a world where being separated from the tribe could mean death. Somewhere tens of thousands of years ago, a fire burned beneath a dark African sky. A group of humans sat together around it. Children listened to stories. Hunters shared food. Elders passed down knowledge that could not be written because writing did not yet exist. Beyond the circle of light stretched miles of darkness. Predators moved unseen. The wilderness waited. But inside that small circle, something remarkable existed. Safety. Not because the humans were strong. Not because they controlled nature. But because they had each other. That firelight became every family, every village, every city, and every civilization that followed. And if you are watching this today, connected through an invisible network of billions of people, you are living proof that the experiment worked. The story of humanity was never the story of a lone survivor. It was the story of people who survived together. If you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person this channel exists for. We explore ancient human behavior, forgotten survival strategies, and the hidden instincts your body still carries from a world that disappeared thousands of years ago. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe and join us for the next journey into humanity's past. See you in the next one.